That is the beauty of cosmic balance, unseen, impartial, and unavoidable. It does not need an audience. It does not need applause. It just provides what is expected. Every motion returns with surgical accuracy. So as they watched you and waited for you to collapse, they had no idea they were plunging further into the consequences of their jealousy. Critics, whispering shadows, and observers unable to quit pursuing your light. They believed that their sabotage would determine your collapse. However, each premeditated betrayal served as the ignition switch for your following level. Their inability to eliminate you served as confirmation of who you are. It's not ironic. It's global intellect at work. Like a storm washing away the weak foundations, only the selected stay standing. Cleaner and stronger. Reborn. You move at a frequency that upsets people who are unable to develop. Your presence alters the environment. The same people who criticize your ascension are now experiencing mysterious breakdowns, loneliness, and spiritual decline. That's not a coincidence. It's all about cosmic math, the accountability algorithm. So let this be the moment they regret ever mentioning your name. Because the more they attempt to stop you, the higher you'll go. Their opposition becomes your rocket fuel. And if you can feel this truth in your bones, you are one of us. Like, subscribe, and stay connected. Because this is not incentive. This is survival wisdom for individuals who are built differently. You were not only picked. You are the result. They did not compute. They expected you to collapse, disintegrate under strain, and fade into quiet. Instead, you saw their envious scheme coming from a mile away and delivered the precise havoc they were trying to create for you. What they saw as your conclusion became their unraveling. And what's next for you? It's more than just retribution. It symbolizes elevation, power, calm, riches, and, most importantly, clarity. So before we go into this decoded breakdown of how to flip the script and feed them their own game, take 3 steps. Click the like button to boost this energy. Subscribe so we may awaken more chosen ones, and leave a comment confirming what your soul already knows. This message is encoded for you. Stay locked in. Don't blink, because what's next? They'll wish they didn't come for you. Let we begin. Number 1. Locate the snake before it attacks. You may either trust your psychic intuition or be taken advantage of. They say you moved too silently and vanished. Perhaps the flames had died out. But in reality, you were playing 10 moves ahead of them while they were focused on your shadow. Not understanding it was only a deception. Now the whispers are louder than ever. According to the frequency, you're meeting each of them without breaking a sweat. You did not merely ascend. You rewire the whole board. And the same people who tried to ruin your next move are now trapped watching you triumph with the exact pieces they attempted to steal. This isn't a coincidence. This is a computed alignment. The type that makes those who misjudged you squirm silently. You aren't only developing. You are revealing everything fake around you just by being. Your presence exudes force without shouting. It shifts. People may sense your enthusiasm. Walk into a room before your body has arrived. It's not charismatic or charming. They are unable to decode this frequency. You vibrate at a frequency that short-circuits pretenders, opportunists, and projection push. You haunt their comfort zones, like a flaw in their illusion. That tension people sense around you. It's not uncomfortable. It's an expose. Their masks don't merely fit around you. They shattered. Your expansion pushed theirs into concealment. Your victories triggered their internal alarms. You've never had to fight back. Your aura did the job. The same atmosphere they once derided has become the template they attempted to emulate but could never reproduce. You became the mirror. They were never prepared to confront the mirror of what they had hidden. And when they cross paths with your development, their internal distortion becomes hotter. Your energy has a frequency that serves as a truth serum. Dismantle falsehoods, illusions, and phony partnerships without saying anything. That is not ego. That's energizing. Law in motion. See, they believe they could disturb your chronology, that the talk or shadow would be enough to dethrone you. However, here is what they did not calculate. When you are selected, resistance does not prevent you from receiving benefits. It stimulates them. Every effort they took to undermine you exposed their own dysfunction. Their treachery was your upgrading process. Now they're glitching, trying to figure out how you didn't simply survive their strike. You surpassed it. And while they're caught up in a loop of subtle stalking and quiet jealousy, you've already rewritten your route in a language with which they were never familiar. You're not relying on chance. Precision is what powers you. And the power. It is a peaceful storm. No thunder, just lightning strikes. Their systems were not designed to handle someone like you, and they suddenly realize it. It's too late to halt the broadcast. This is not just vengeance. This is called resonance. Keep soaring. Let your elevation be the echo. They are unable to flee. Number 2, expose falsehoods right away. Let your energy make deceit difficult. They believe they could fake it around you by smiling in your face and concealing the knife. What they didn't comprehend was that your energy burns directly via performance. No mask survived. Moves under your sight. You do not require evidence. You can sense the change. Your intuition is more than simply a sensation. It's a scanner, a firewall, and a lie detector honed by experience and betrayal. Every time they attempted to alter the facts, shift the narrative, or hide their goals under flattery, your field responded like fire striking paper, resulting in quick combustion. They twitched, tripped, and claimed that your presence had sparked something in them. They were unable to restrict exposure. You did not call them out. They fell out on their own. That's what occurs when a selected one enters the room. Truth does not need an announcement. It glows. You possess a frequency that makes deceit uncomfortable. They attempt to keep their tail straight, but your silence demolishes their framework. They were unable to identify the energy. It was the weight of their own falsehoods crashing against the gravity of your truth. Allow them to pretend. Allow them to pose. But remember this. Your very presence alters the environment. Manipulators lose power. Schemes fall flat. Nothing untrue can withstand extended exposure to your vibrations. Not because you face it, but because you are the confrontation. And it is the part they will never confess. They intended you to be distracted, confused, and off-center. Instead, you strolled in, perfectly aligned, untouchable. Their deception could not acquire traction. And now they have lost control of the game they rigged. Number 3, just existing will cause their truth to be revealed. Don't decrease the light for their comfort. They will never acknowledge it out. However, your presence alone disrupts their whole internal programming. You don't even need to talk. Simply being in the same room when you turn switches. They've spent years burying. You are the flaw in their constructed personality. You are the trigger that brings the truth to the surface, raw, exposed, and unmistakable. They start squirming as soon as you come in. They over-explain. Their gaze shifts. The mask slides little more each time. You can watch how their Project ID confidence transforms into worried energy. Why? Because you exude something they can't fake. You have truth encoded in your frequency, and no falsehood can live in that type of environment. Understand this. Their pain isn't a reason to shrink. It's validation that your light is performing just as intended. Illuminate not for praise or appreciation, but to reveal and improve everything around it. You are not here to calm the fantasies. You are here to break them. They urge you to tone things down. Be more digestible and less intense. But this is simply fear talking. Fear of reflection. They can't flee while you're around. And while they disintegrate, attempting to preserve fake peace, you become the megaphone for what is genuine. So there is no selected one. Do not dim. Do not twist your intellect to make liars feel protected. Your light was not provided to you as a kindness. The universe militarized it as a disruptive force. You don't come in expecting to be loved. When you step in, the whole atmosphere is recalibrated. You are the exposure, the alarm clock, the raw data that cannot be deleted. Make a stronger appearance. Let them choke on the facts they attempted to conceal. Because the more triggers you pull, the more you win. Number 4, keep your kindness like gold. They will drain you dry and then blame you for it. They did not come for your power initially. They sought your sympathy, because it is the actual vault. They saw your compassion, loyalty, and readiness to offer even when you were low on resources. and they viewed it as a weakness, albeit a chosen one. Let this sink in. They've never loved you. They adored your brilliance until it revealed them. You extended your hands. They intended to bite. You contributed generously, while others kept score. They analyzed your empathy like a blueprint, figuring out where it was soft, twisted, and cracked. Not to cherish, but to exploit. The same people who grinned as they stole from you became frigid after you stopped bleeding for their benefit. And when you eventually shut the floodgates, they blamed you for their thirst. This was not a friendship. It was a siphon. They did not wish to develop. They wanted to feed, and your unguarded sympathy served as the admission card. But not anymore. You have improved the locks. You are no longer explaining your limits to those who had no business being near your energy in the first place. What they term distance is really protection. What people refer to as cold is actually clarity. They now sit in rooms. You once flared up, wondering why everything seemed colder. It's because you departed and took the sun with you. And guess what? This was their test. They failed badly. So from now on, God, your compassion is like gold. It is wholly uncommon and potentially lethal in the wrong hands. You aren't here to be drained. You're here to create empires, awaken codes, and leave a legacy. Anyone who is not in agreement with that may watch from behind the fire-drawn boundary line. Next time they grasp for your light, they'd better arrive, healed or not at all. Number 5, cease promising miracles to the unprepared. Their rejection is not your failing. They pleaded for change, cried out for assistance. I spoke my goals to the cosmos while no one was listening. The universe sends you, but they weren't prepared. Not for the mirror that you held up, not for the clarity you conveyed, and especially not for the shift that your presence triggered. You didn't just show up. You come with answers, shrouded in stillness, and healing built into your very vibration. But here's something the chosen one learns the hard way. Not everyone who pleads for a miracle understands what to do when one appears right in front of them. They did not reject you. They rejected what they saw in themselves as you entered the room. Your light revealed their shadows. Your height reminded them of the effort they never made. You were a living contradiction to their explanations, and for that, they turned away. They botched the heavenly assistance. They spat out the medicine and blamed the flavor. However, it was not your failure. This was their test. They failed. Now, stop overextending. Stop presenting alternatives to those who have always desired paddles. Their failure to accept what you contributed does not indicate that you gave too much. It proves they never planned to expand. You were never an issue. You were the update they failed to acknowledge. The chosen one. Don't mourn their blindness. Allow them to go away perplexed. Allow them to tell others you were too much. Because that is what clarity sounds like to those who are not prepared. You're not here to persuade. You've come here to align. Remember this. A miracle given to the wrong person becomes a curse, which they blame on the one who provided it. Their rejection. That is the universe. Preserving your gift. Keep soaring. They were not the destination. Just a lesson in disguise. Number 6, recognize when you're being observed. Spiritual spies are unable to decipher a heavenly design. They have been monitoring you, not because people admire you, but because they don't understand you. You do not publish everything. You don't speak loudly. You merely move silently, efficiently, and precisely. They can't find you. You become the question that haunts them, the energy that lingers in their minds long after you leave the room. And the more they attempt to analyze your every action, the more confused they get by your design. That is what occurs when you are formed differently. You move in patterns. Only alignment can make these watches. They believe they're slick by lurking in quiet, peering at burner accounts, copying your style, and practicing your tone. But they are not observers. They're energy thieves attempting to decipher a frequency they were never supposed to access. You are encrypted. Your blueprint was never supposed to exist. The public domain. They see just the surface. What you're truly working on exists under levels that cannot be spiritually penetrated. And this is the part they will never grasp. Their fixation only helps you grow. Every peak, stock, and effort to read your field feeds the momentum they're attempting to disrupt. You're playing chess in a language they can't understand while they're still attempting to decipher the board. They conducted spiritual espionage in the hopes of extracting your essence. However, what they experienced was a system crash. Their tools are worthless. Their aim was represented. Their interference was eliminated. Because when you are selected, your design is not only safeguarded, it is militarized. Let them watch. Let them study. Allow them to flame with interest. Just remember this. A heavenly blueprint cannot be replicated, cracked, or corrupted. It can only be fulfilled. And you are already doing it. Keep your movements tidy. Keep your frequency untouchable. You were designed to be seen, but never deciphered. Number 7, tear apart the phony social compact. If they cannot respect it, you must be eliminated. They asked the cosmos for someone genuine, then destroyed the present as soon as it came. That was you. The alignment. The opportunity. The response was sent directly at their doorstep. Instead of appreciating the bond, they played games, pushed to limitations, and crossed borders. They vowed to respect. What they didn't realize was that you were not confined by desperation. You were sent by design. And once that design is broken enough, the contract self-destructs. See? Not every soul connection is wholly indefinitely. Some include exploration codes that are activated by treachery. You did not walk away. You ripped up the pact they had desecrated. They breached the terms initially. You just made it official. And this is what burns the most. You had no need for closure. You provided the last piece of the puzzle. They assumed they had time. They thought they could fumble your presence while still gaining access to your power. But that was never the bargain. When their motives become tainted, the whole link crumbled under its own deception. You did not destroy it. That ego did. That pact, which they formerly took for granted, is now being violently shattered. No renewal or renegotiation. What they dubbed love was just access. What you presented was the truth. They were not prepared for that. And now they can't find their way back there. And while they hunt for alternatives to fill the hole, they realize the pattern cannot be replicated. The universe does not rescind what has been spent. They do not get another you. That was a once-in-a-lifetime alignment. They chose ego over growth. So do not second-guess the separation. When someone repeatedly violates a holy pact, you do not owe them pity. You owe yourselves freedom. Burn the contract. Seal the gate. Allow them to live with the loss they have earned. You were the update that they could not download. Number 8. Unleash the DNA bomb inside you. Repressed strength is still self-betrayal. They thought you'd never realize the power that lay latent inside you, hidden under layers of doubt, pain, and training. But you were never designed to remain little. You didn't suddenly discover your strength. You remember it, and now the code is cracking. Your DNA is more than simply biology. It's a loaded vault, a timed weapon, and a blueprint for everything they feared you'd face when you awoke. And guess what? That day has arrived. Every setback, every betrayal, every time you felt alone was catalyst. And that trigger set off the internal bomb they didn't expect. You are not just waking up. You're releasing. You have become the living embodiment of everything they attempted to repress. Their jealousy did not shatter you. It backfired. The more they attempted to dampen your frequency, the more your essence resonated. As they pushed, your code began to decipher itself. Understand that suppressing your own inner genius is no longer an option. Suppressing what you hold is not humility. It is treachery, self-betrayal. And that's all for now. Your lighting is not a recommendation. It is a mission. You cannot control your potential. It's something to use. They understood that if you completely trigger their games, their control would crumble and their illusions would shatter. And you've proved them correct. So let this be the change. No more second-guessing or playing. It's nice to make folks comfortable in your light. The vault has opened. The vibe is vibrant. You are no longer here to heal in quiet. You are here to recalibrate the whole system. The chosen one. Your strength was never gone. It was about timing. And now there's war. Ready? Let everyone go on. Be a reminder. They were unprepared for the explosion you caused. Accept being viewed from the stars. Number 9. Allow cosmic witnesses to verify your route. They assumed you were walking this path alone, that no one saw what you were carrying or how you were surviving, but instead chose one. You have been watched the entire time, not by crowds or clout chasers, but by forces beyond their understanding. While they mocked, dismissed, and attempted to distort your story, eyes above dimensions were fixed on you. Witnesses who record rather than speak, not in words, but in energy. Not with opinions, but with absolutes. Knowing that your movements have triggered alignment codes at frequencies they cannot even identify. What they called a coincidence was really your confirmation. The chills. You felt a sudden pressure in your chest prior to your breakthrough. That was not fear. That was cosmic validation sinking through your timeline. Every hardship you faced was not hidden. It was documented. And every victory you achieved through chaos was broadcast across planes. They will never have access. You are a signal and not a seeker. You're not here to prove anything. The evidence is that you and the individuals who question your merit will soon see the repercussions of insulting a frequency they are unqualified to grasp. The more they attempted to disregard your destiny, the more the universe accentuated it. This is how it works when you are picked. The tables have flipped. They feel like they're being watched. They understand that your name will not remain quiet for long. Not only are people acknowledging you, but so is power. Your ascension is being analyzed as a template rather than as happenstance. Celestial minds are documenting your endurance, resilience, and choices. And the recordings don't fade. So walk as if you know who's looking. Not those who questioned you, but those who were preserving your legacy. They didn't only see the envious plan. They saw you disassemble it and serve it back with surgical precision. Keep walking. The celebs are still tuned in. Number 10. Recognize. Rock behind a grin. Their decay is an echo of rejected brightness. They smiled at you, but the stink of their rotting could not be ignored. You felt it. The rot in their praises. Venom was infused underneath every handshake. I'm pleased for you. The selected one. You've always been able to see through the gorgeous packaging, filters, and artificial laughs to the hollow, falling core. They attempted to portray loyalty. They called it love, but it was really disguise. They provided help in the form of surveillance. You saw it coming. Their fall is not arbitrary. It's an echo of light. They rejected your light, truth, and growth when you expanded the real. They choose the delusion. When you offered progress, they opted for gossip. You granted them access to gold, and they decided to swap it in for dust. Their energy is frail, their aura faint, and their reality is crumbling piece by piece. Not because you cursed them, but because they rejected alignment when it arrived disguised as your presence. Every time they distorted your name, they honed the dagger of their own destruction. Every falsehood they fabricated about you contributed to their own demise. That smirk they had while attempting to sabotage you. The artificial radiance is crumbling. It's fading. The universe does not play favorites. It plays frequencies. There are no more matches for anything pure. They welcomed this reckoning by choosing ego before elevation. They touched your name with unclean hands, and now everything they touch collapses. Their jealousy became a mirror. They are unable to flee, so let them watch. Allow them to examine your ascent. You do not owe them a warning. Simply let your wind shout the truth. They attempted to bury you after seeing the decay. The rest of the world may now view it as well. A number. Walk in. Jupiter's fire expansion is the only way out of their collapse. You weren't just designed to survive. You were designed to grow. And they sought to cage you in, limiting your potential with whispered doubts and covert sabotage. What they didn't comprehend was that pressure just triggers the following level. You did not flee from the fire. They did. You became it. And now you're stepping into something they can't even pronounce. Jupiter energy. The energy of divine growth that refuses to be diminished. Their world is collapsing not because you cursed them, but because they bet against someone who could never be broken. They were responsible for their own demise. Their demise. a reflection of every effort to keep you little while they rot in their comfort zone. You have entered a state of cosmic acceleration. You quit playing chess on their rigged board and created your own galaxy instead. Jupiter does more than only provide you benefits. It accentuates your purpose, which has been pure from the beginning. Evolve, rise, and never look back. Now, every goal you touch multiplies. Every stride forward rattles. Entire frequency fields. They attempted to expel you, unaware that doing so just enabled your expansion procedure. Let them chatter. Allow them to circle back in quiet. They claimed you'd never have a life like this. You did not just win. You developed in the face of their failure. And it burns louder than any retort could. Continue walking into the flames, because where you're going, they'll need telescopes to see the version of you that emerged from what they attempted to bury. The only way to exact retribution is via expansion. Let them choke on the dust from your development. Numbers become evidence that they cannot copy. You are the blueprint, not the backup plan. They attempted to recreate the illumination but ended up scorching their hands. You were not the only one who made it. You were the formula they never had access to. You are the blueprint, not the backup plan. Everything they are currently after you represented before they even understood what to call it. Allow that to settle. They wanted your results, not your refinement. They admired your confidence but dismissed your turmoil. They saw the crown, not the price. So they attempted to imitate your movement, words, and manner, hoping to achieve the same results. What they didn't comprehend was that authenticity does not replicate. Imitation leaks. And now they're stuck repeating what never belonged to them. I am wondering why it is crumbling in their hands. You were never founded on trends. You were sculpted via trial fire, forged pressure, honed the cosmos, and this frequency was not handed to you. It watched while you bled for it. And now every move you take leaves an imprint that they can't erase, and a standard they cannot meet. You interrupt their performance with your presence, because no matter how much they practice, nothing compares to the impact of your truth. They sense it, and it eats away at them. Their new connections, pursuits, and acquaintances are all based around the idea of attempting to replace you. However, placeholders do not stay long in a framework that was never designed to accommodate them. And everyone around them can sense that something is wrong since they are the chosen one. You are not only unforgettable, you are not replicable. Your essence cannot be duplicated, concealed, or reverse engineered. You are the original code in a system full of knockoffs. So be confident in your knowledge of all false versions. Only reminds the world of who you really are. Allow them to try. You'll remain the one they can't touch and will never stop looking. So, after the dust settles, remember this. What they intended to destroy you instead highlighted your invulnerability. You didn't just survive their scheme. You turned, reversed, and made it fit your purpose. The selected do not buckle under pressure. They make diamonds out of it. Your promotion is not a reward. It is the unfolding of your blueprint. And from here on, each step you take causes the earth to quake. They attempted to bury you below. If this message resonated with you, like the video, subscribe to remain connected with your tribe, and leave a comment to claim your power.